சார் ஸ்ரீதர் சார், வணக்கம் சார்.
வணக்கம் பாஸ்கர்.
தேங்க்யூ சார். உடனே வந்துட்டீங்க, பரவாயில்ல. வெளில போயிட்டாரு.
யாரு?
சுப்பிரமணி, நம்ம இவரு வந்தாரு, போயிட்டாரு.
ஏன் வரலையா? அவர்
ஜாயின்மெண்ட் டிஸ்கவுண்ட் ஆயிட்டு இருக்குன்னு தெரியல.
ஓ அச்சா அச்சா சாரி.
ரெஜிஸ்டர் ஜாயின் பண்ணிடுவாரு.
ரெஜிஸ்டர் எத்தனை மணிக்கு வராரு?
நம்ம ப்ரோக்ராம் 3 மணிக்கு தான் சார்.
3 o'clock தானே?
ஆமா ஆமா சார்.
ஓகே 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 பாஸ்கர்.
ஓகே, அது கேட்டீங்களா சார்? அவரை கேட்டீங்களா?
நான் கேட்டேன். இது முடிச்சுட்டு நான் கேட்கிறேன். அவரை கேட்டுட்டு நான் உங்களுக்கு சொல்லிடுறேன். ஓகே. இது ஃபுல் ஸ்கிரீன் செய்யறேன். ஆன் చేసి ப்ரொஃபசர் பாஸ்கர்
சார்.
என்னாச்சு, ஒரு பிஸியா?
ஹலோ,
இவர் சுப்பிரமணியம் என்ன சொன்னாரு?
கூப்பிடுறோம் சார்.
நான் கூப்பிடுவேன். இப்போ ரெஜிஸ்டர் வந்துருவார் இல்லையா? 3 o'clock
கண்டிப்பா வரும்.
சரி 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 ஓகே. அவருக்கா வெயிட் பண்ணுவோம் நம்ம அப்போ.
ஆமாம் சார், ஆமாம்.
ஷோர்.
வந்துட்டீங்க சார், வந்துட்டீங்க. ஹலோ.
Hello, I am audible, sir.
Yes.
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir. Thank you. Thank you. Sorry for the interruption, sir.
Okay.
Actually, I'm in Puducherry.
Okay.
Meeting I have to attend one function at this secretariat.
Register also join. Okay.
Okay, sir.
Sridhar sir is there.
Yes, you can start, sir.
Okay, sir. Right, sir. சார் ஸ்டார்ட் பண்ணலாமா சார்? நீங்க மியூட்ல இருக்கீங்க.
Yes, sir. You can start, sir.
ஓகே சார்.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Good afternoon, sir.
குட் ஆஃப்டர்நூன் சார்.
Good afternoon. Good afternoon.
ஸ்டார்ட் பண்ணலாமா?
A very good afternoon. Excuse me. A very good afternoon to one and all present here. Let us begin today's event with the Tamil Thai Vartha.
நீராறும் கடலுடுத்த நிலமடந்தை கெழுதொழுகும் சீராரும் வதனமென திரள் பரத கண்டமிதில் தெக்கணமும் அதிர் சிறந்த திராவிடனல் திருநாடும் தக்க சிறு பிறை முதலும் தரித்தனரும் திலகமுமே அத்திரக வாசனை போல் அனைத்துலகும் இன்பமுற எத்திசையும் புகழ் மணக்க இருந்த பெரும் தமிழனங்கே உன் சீரிடமை திறம்பி அந்த செயல் மறந்து வாழ்த்துதுமே.
Groundwater is invisible, but its impact is visible everywhere. Out of sight, under our feet, groundwater is a hidden treasure that enriches our lives. Groundwater may be out of sight, but it must not be out of our mind. Today, the 22nd March of 2022, we mark the occasion of World Water Day. The theme for this year is Groundwater, Making the Invisible Visible. On this occasion, the Center for Water Resources Management, University of Madras, is organizing a national webinar on the same theme. I now request Dr. G. Bhaskaran, Professor and Head in Charge of Center for Water Resources Management, University of Madras, to deliver the welcome address. Sir, please.
Sir, your mic is muted. Please unmute yourself.
Good afternoon. This is a very important day for us. That is nothing but the World Water Day 2020-22. We are observing the World Water Day today. Why means the season, the winter is changed into summer. So there is a abnormal water crisis will be happen in Chennai, other metropolitan cities, even though in the rural areas. So before that, we have to take care and give some awareness to the public, awareness to the students, awareness to the administrators about the water issues and water scarcity for sustainable management of water. So that every year, the March 22nd is the Water Day we are observing every year, and we are giving awareness to the public also for usage of sustainable water resources. In this way, we are celebrating this day. The theme of the day is groundwater, making the visible, invisible to the visible. The workshop. This workshop will be enlightening you about the water crisis in India, Tamil Nadu, and how the water resources, the crisis can be managed, how the geospatial technology can be useful for solving the water issues in India as well as Tamil Nadu globally. In this, keeping this message, we are conducting the one-day World Water Day webinar. For that, a gentleman and an eminent person, the administrator of the University of Madras, this registrar, University of Madras, Dr. N. Madhivanan, is with us to inaugurate the novel project in this afternoon. He is a very dynamic and also more supportive to all the activities which are all conducted in the higher education, which is in the University of Madras as well as the affiliated colleges. And we are very proud of that particular person who is also taking a dual role in their academic research as well as the administrative role in the University of Madras. We wholeheartedly, the Center for Water Resources, welcoming you for this particular webinar itself. And
Thank you,
there
sir.
are two eminent scholars going to deliver the lectures. All are our Madras University alumnus. One is Dr. Subramaniam. He is Regional Director, Central Groundwater Board, Government of India. He is a well-known person and also his vast experience throughout the India. He traveled throughout India, both surface water and groundwater. He assessed more, and now he is serving as a regional director in the Chennai region itself. Very dynamic personality, and also is a very high profile person, and his busy schedule, he has accepted our invitation, and he is going to deliver about the status of water resources in India with a special reference to Tamil Nadu. Based on his experience, we may be enlightened how the water resources are managed and how we are going to manage the water issues in the year 2020-22. Sir, the Center for Water Resources, University of Madras, wholeheartedly welcome you and give you a lecture after that inaugural session. Another one, Dr. Schneider, is an alumnus of our university as well as the Department of Geography. and he's the senior hydrogeologist in the Tamil Nadu Water Supply and Drainage Board, Government of Tamil Nadu. And he worked every nook and corner of this Tamil Nadu as well as the neighboring state, who is more technological oriented person. And also he conducted several research project, R&D project in Tamil Nadu. And he is more supportive to the stakeholders in the village areas, how to conserve the water, how to go for a sustainable usage of the water for various sectors of water users. Likewise, so he is going to deliver, and he is going to share his knowledge, what he gained from the field today afternoon by between 4 to 4:30, 4:45. So our Center for Water Resource and Department of Geography are wholeheartedly welcome you and give your and share your experiences to our participants. There are nearly 280 participants registered themselves, and they are in the YouTube streaming. Only the panelists will be there in the Google Meet. So now this is the right time to welcome our participants. Throughout the India, there are representations from East, North, West. Likewise, there are students and teachers are joined in the YouTube streaming. On behalf of the Center for Water Resource University of Madras, we welcome all the participants who are all in the YouTube streaming. Now, this is the right time to invite our dynamic personality registrar, Dr. Madhivanan sir, to give his inaugural address in the webinar itself. Thank you all. Thank you for the active participant in the webinar itself. Over to Sweta.
On behalf of everyone, I thank you, sir, for your warm welcome. We have with us Professor N. Madhivanan, Registrar in Charge, University of Madras, Professor and Director, Center for Advanced Studies in Botany. He is also the coordinator of Rashtriya Uchatar Shiksha Abhiyan 2.0, University of Madras. He has also been the Deputy Coordinator of UGC SAP in the Department of Biotechnology. He is also the visiting scientist in the Institute of Plant Pathology and Plant Protection in George August University, Göttingen in Germany, Kreis. He has been a visiting scientist in the Department of Biochemistry, Faculty of Sciences in Konkan University. His areas of specialization includes extremophiles, actinomycetes, halophilic bacteria, medicinal plants, and microbial diversity, plant and microbial metabolites, biological control of plant diseases, marine biotechnology, and anti-snake venom metabolites. He has received a number of awards, which include a Imbo Ambo Fellowship from Japan, INSA DFG Fellowship, Biotechnology Overseas Associateship, a Service Star Award, World Wellness Open University and Ministry of Family Welfare from Government of India. He has published over 70 papers and visited more than 20 countries in regarding the academic and administrative works. He has generated around 5 crore rupees from various governmental and non-governmental agencies and has also guided around 50 PhD scholars. I now request Madhivanan sir to deliver the inaugural address. Over to you, sir.
Thank you, Ms. Sweta, for your introduction. And அனைவருக்கும் என் இனிய நெஞ்சார்ந்த வணக்கங்கள். Good afternoon to each and every one of you. Most respected Professor Bhaskaran, Director, Center for Water Resources. He was also syndicate member of the University of Madras. Dr. S. Subramaniam, Regional Director, Center Groundwater Board, Government of India, Chennai, who is going to deliver the keynote address. Dr. K. Sridhar, a Senior Hydrologist, retired, Tamil Nadu Water Supply and Drainage Board, Government of Tamil Nadu. Mrs. Priyanka, Research Scholar, who is going to propose the vote of thanks. And the faculty members of University of Madras, research scholars, students, and participants. It gives me immense pleasure to join through online in connection with the national webinar on the occasion of World Water Day 2020. This is a important day for each and every one of us, not only for all the human being and also for all the organisms who live in the earth, because நீரின்று அமையாது உலகு, இது ஐயன் திருவள்ளுவரோட வாக்கு. So he has given a very important thrust on the importance of water. So therefore he has given this குறள், நீரின்று அமையாது உலகெனின் யார் யாருக்கும் வானின்று அமையாது ஒழுக்கு. So it means without water, no organism will survive in the earth. So we will get rain in the form of water. So therefore, water is very, very important for our everyday life, to survive, to maintain our environment, grow plants, grow animals, etc., etc. You can add anything. So therefore we need to protect the water resources, because nowadays the water resources are disappearing from our vicinity because of our anthropogenic activity. If you look at the world, everybody knows the 97% of the world roughly covered by ocean. It's a huge water body, and also we have river, we have tanks, we have lakes, we have small water bodies, etc., etc. And these are all visible to us because we are able to see. But the water, substantial amount is present below ground, the groundwater. Unless otherwise, if you pump the groundwater from the bottom to surface, we cannot see. Probably that is the reason why the theme of this year, groundwater, making the invisible to visible. So we need to bring the invisible groundwater to visible form. So probably that could be the reason. I don't know. I'm not expert in the particular field as Professor Bhaskaran, but nevertheless, the importance of water everybody know. So out of this so much of water, only 3% water are fresh water. Means this water can be used for various purposes, including drinking purpose. So, but what happened because of this climate change and global warming, and also our own activities, anthropogenic activities, the freshwater level is reducing day by day. One of the literature says this 3% freshwater will reduce to 1%, and one day it will disappear. That is an alarming situation. I'm not exaggerating. This is the reality, because we have already encountered the zero water day maybe a few years ago. The Cape Town at South Africa has been declared the city of zero water day. It means the water providing system, the municipality water providing system or any other providing system has run out of water. So that was the alarming situation we already faced. So the people used to stand in a long queue to fetch water. That is the situation we already faced in a very famous city in our world. So not only Cape Town, and other cities also going to face this kind of zero water day in the near future. That was the alarming prediction they already made. Again, I don't want to scare you. This is not exaggerated information. This is the information available in the internet. Everybody can get into and see what is the real situation. And they already predicted there are about 11 major cities. Some of the cities are even capital of a country. Those cities are going to run out of water in the near future. One of the cities, Sao Paulo, that is the financial capital of Brazil, like our Mumbai. Mumbai is a financial capital. Similarly, Sao Paulo is the financial capital of Brazil. This city is going to become going to face the zero water day in the near future. The another one is Beijing. It's surprised to know Beijing is the capital of China, and China probably through media everyone will be witnessing the heavy rain and also flood, so many blah blah. But still, the Beijing is also going to be face the zero water day. And Cairo, the capital of Egypt, is another city is listed here. Jakarta, the capital of Indonesia, and very surprisingly, Moscow. Moscow is the capital of Russia, and it is all covered by ice during the winter. I don't know how this city is also going to face this critical issue. And Istanbul, Turkey, in the other capital city, Turkey country, this is also listed. Mexico City, from Mexico. Then very surprisingly, London. It is having Thames River, but still London is also listed. It is going to be face this zero water day. And Tokyo, Japan, Tokyo, and Miami in USA. These are the 10 cities. Another one city, really it is surprise. Even our Indian city, Bangalore, is going to face this zero water day in the near future. That is the prediction they already made. There are indication also shows that it is going to reality in the days to come. It's all because of the overuse or over exploitation or wastage of water, so on and so forth. There are several reasons people are attributing. One of the reasons is the global warming and climate change. Because of that, so we are going to face acute drought or copious rains, and also different types of erratic climatic weather parameter. These are the things going to affect the entire environment and globe. So therefore, we need to really cautious about preserving water for our own purpose at least. So we need to take care of this, and not only we as a human and other organism also depending on water. And most of the biological body, including human body, almost more than close to 90% or 80 to 90% it's water. So therefore, water is very, very important. Without water, we cannot really survive. So even I know my childhood, now we are actually facing a lot of problem during the summer, and our corporation is unable to supply water city like Chennai. And during the summer, they run tanker lorries to supply water some areas, and big apartments and large number of houses, they buy water through tanker lorries to fill the sump to supply water. So this is the situation we are facing. We never imagine water will become a commodity. Water is a natural resource. Air is a natural resource. Water is a natural resource. It should not be a commodity, but now it's become a commodity. When Bisleri company introduced water, everybody was laughed at Bisleri company. Why these people are, whether they are mad to sell water. But now what is the situation? It is order of the day. Everybody using bottled water or canned water or packet water or tanker water. So water become a commodity. We are buying the water. But that should not be the case. When I was small boy, we used to even drink the running river water. Even sometimes I saw myself personally at my field, people used to walk and they used to drink the running water on the channels. No harm. Nobody bothered about the pathogens, or nobody thought of having any other health issues. Just like that, they used to drink water. Such a pure water used to be there. Later, then people stopped drinking the water in the river, but they used to dig and take the water below ground. Then that was consumed. And similarly, in my village, I used to see tanks used to fill full of water, lakes full of water, and that water will be used for irrigating our field. Later in the summers, it will dry, but winter it will full. But now, even winter also, we are unable to see the full lake or full tank water. So that is the situation. Many a years, some years, if it is copious rain, then it will be filled, or it will be water will be discharged. So that is a exception. But majority in actually my village is on a river bank, and my grandfather used to tell, even my father used to tell, 24/7, 365 days full of water, that river. But now hardly we used to get the water flow during the winter, maybe a week or 10 days, remaining full of dry. So that is the situation now we are facing. So therefore, now what is happening? So that is has gone, and we have dug out well, and we collect water. Then we did the bore, and bore also dry. Now it is become a submersible water. So invisible water, groundwater, we put the submersible pump and pump the water. That is the situation now we are facing. So therefore, in the future, it is going to be a rare commodity. There is going to be an acute shortage of water globally. Even now, a lot of the African country facing difficulty of getting water. So under this situation, it is each and every one of our responsibility to take care of the water resources. We should not close down the water by way of construction of buildings or housing, etc. So therefore, whatever water body available nearby us, it is our prime responsibility to protect them. So Dr. Professor Bhaskaran has mentioned maybe 2 days ago, they have done the geospatial analysis, through which they are able to inform the government authorities the availability of the situation of today water bodies, how it was and how it is. So therefore, under this situation, it is our prime responsibility to take care of this protection of this water body, and therefore this kind of program will give us enough awareness and also interest for our young students to think in this line and contribute for the protection of the water resources. With this, I take this opportunity to thank profusely Professor Bhaskaran and his team for having invited me to deliver this inaugural address. I inaugurate with a happy thank you, one and all. Hello. Yes. சொல்லுங்க சார், சொல்லுங்க. ஹலோ சார், சொல்லுங்க சார். ஹலோ சார், சவுண்ட் ஒரு மாதிரி இருக்கு. மேலே வரட்டுங்களா? சத்தம் சார் மேலே வரேன் சார், சரியா கேட்கல.
Thank you so much, sir, for your insightful message. Getting into the heart of today's event, we have with us two speakers who are veterans in this field to impart to us their knowledge and experience. Our first speaker for today is Dr. S. Subramanian, the Regional Director in charge of SACR region, serving as a Senior Hydrogeologist working in the Ministry of Jal Shakti, Department of Water Resources, River Development and Ganga Rejuvenation under Central Groundwater Board with the Government of India. He has a professional experience of more than 22 years in this field. He is actively involved in the leading role in the studies on groundwater exploration, aquifer mapping studies, accelerated exploration for drought mitigation, arsenic special exploration in Chhattisgarh, implementation of national schemes like Dugwell Recharge Scheme. He is also part of various subcommittees constituted on water resources by the Planning Commission and Groundwater Regulation and Management. It is a blessing to have amidst us Dr. S. Subramanian, imparting knowledge based on his experience on the topic The Status of Water Resources in India with special reference to Tamil Nadu. Over to you, sir.
Good afternoon to all. So due to bad connection, I may be requested that without video connection. Respected Register N. Madhivanan and Professor G. Bhaskaran and my co-speaker Sri K. Sridhar, Senior Hydrogeologist, retired. So good afternoon to all. So today we are going to have that presentation on the, especially that today's theme, that is a World Water Day, making the invisible into visible. So in this aspect, I am going to take the presentation. So what the CGWB SCCR Chennai office did for the entire Tamil Nadu. So we have almost covered the entire Tamil Nadu by Aquifer mapping. And just before that, I will share the PPT. It is visible?
Yes, sir, the screen is visible.
Okay, fine. So groundwater is the most dependable source of country water supply and is responsible for the food security through green resolution and meet more than 80% of the rural drinking water supply and about 60% of the irrigation demands, and also support the industrial development in the country. So in India, a total of water available in the form of precipitation amounting to 4,000 kilometers square, out of which only 28%, that is 1123 square kilometer, is available as a usable water resource in the form of surface and groundwater. So out of that 28%, 690 square kilometer belongs to surface and 433 belongs to groundwater. So therefore, so keeping this mind, today the World Water Day, the theme is making the invisible into visible. So what are the form we can bring into public in a visible form so that it can be managed judicially? So why we have to make it this invisible source into visible? Because that groundwater is invisible, but its impact is visible everywhere, because it is creating the drought and alarming situation. So out of sight, under our feet, groundwater is hidden treasure that ensure our lives. And almost all the form of liquid fresh water in the world is groundwater, because the fresh water, out of fresh water, 30% are accounts for the groundwater. So as a climatic change get what's the groundwater will be the only the source, and it value will be more critical to mitigate the climatic change effects. So we need to work together to sustainable this manage this precious resource. So globally, if you are seeing that groundwater, it almost fulfill 50% of the drinking water and 40% of the irrigation and 30% of the industry. And groundwater is also sustain the ecosystem, maintaining the base flow of the rivers, and prevents the land subsidence and seawater intrusion. So considering this, so I will skip this slide. So considering this, Government of India, we made a 2012, we started a one flagship program, that is Aquifer Mapping from entire country, Kashmir to Kanyakumari. So wherever that hot rock is there, up to 200 meter, the three-dimensional mapping of aquifer has been taken up in 2012. And as far as Tamil Nadu concerned, we have completed entire area, that is a mappable area, not the entire area. Entire area is 1,30,000 square kilometer. After that, 1,05,000 is mappable, because some hilly area is there that we are not able to, hilly and forest area, we have omitted that one. So the mappable area, that is 1,05,000 square kilometer, has been completed by March 2021. So when you see the Tamil Nadu, so the most of the area is occupied by hard rock. That is 73% of the area is occupied by hard rock, and remaining 27 is soft rock. It includes the coastal alluvium as well as Kadalu sandstones, which gives the major source for the coastal area. And it has 38 districts. Total population is 7 crores. So normal rainfall is 911 mm. So the major rivers are Palar, Ponnayar, Vellar, Kaveri, Vaigai, Tamaribharani, Gundar. So what we did for aquifer
Excuse
mapping?
me, sir.
Yes.
So sorry for interrupting. Your slides are not changing.
Now, madam?
No, sir.
1 minute, 1 minute. Now?
Sir, it's still not changing, sir.
So
you can try presenting it again.
Okay.
Yes, sir, it is changing now.
Now, madam, it is visible?
Yes, sir, the slides are visible.
Okay. Now I made it the slideshow. It is okay? Hello?
Sir, it's not in the slideshow mode, sir. It is still in the PowerPoint page.
Okay.
So try changing the slides.
Now?
Yes, sir, it's changing, sir.
Okay.
You may continue, sir.
Then I will continue. Okay.
Thank you, sir.
The major rivers are Palar, Ponnayar, Vellar, Kaveri, Vaigai, Tamaribharani, Gundar. So for the aquifer mapping study, what we did, we made a 20 river basin. So whatever the historical data we are available with the that past 25 years, we compiled in a systematic manner, and using sophisticated software, we made a 3D dimension of the aquifer system. So as far as Tamil Nadu concerned, major geomorphological unit is western part. The Western Ghats continue ranges from north to south, and central part is pediments and pediplains, and some residual hills also occurs in between. So eastern part is coastal plain. So that trend of rainfall, if you are seeing that, so major portion of the study area experiencing 0 to minus 5 millimeter per year. So this is the most major portion of the Tamil Nadu. Only the significant portion in Nilgiris, there the declining trend is ranges -5 to -10 millimeter per year. So as far as physiography concerned, one is coastal area, coastal plains, and the central portion is occupied by the flat top hills and central plateau and western Ghats. So these are the stratigraphic sequence and respective lithology are available throughout the Tamil Nadu. I am not going to detail much, and this is a ultimate we made based on the our historical data. What we made, this is a hydrogeological map. So based on this map, we categorized some 12 to 13 major aquifer system. So this slide is visible now, madam. Hello.
Yes, sir. The slide is visible, sir.
Okay. I made it this slide show. That's why I'm asking, because it will then only we can able to see something. So basically, these are the 13 major aquifer system available in the Tamil Nadu. So out of which, if you are seeing, major portion is occupied by gneissic formation. So followed by Charnakite, followed by alluvium, and then sandstone. These are the major orders occupy as far as occupy concerned. So based on that, we made this aquifer only we are concentrating. Whenever we are going through our exploratory drilling sites, so we will be concentrating this major aquifer system. So as far as that Puducherry concerns, because it is mentioned in the bottom, that's why I want to say that. So Puducherry concerned, it is occupied by alluvium and sandstone. Only the two formation is available there. So all along the coast, we are having more than 300 exploratory well we have drilled. So based on that, we made some lithology sections where the saline formations are existing at what depth. Like that, we have made some special study also we had carried out. This is the latest water level map that it is based on the our 1,400 hydrographic station spreaded across the Tamil Nadu. We used to monitor every quarterly, that is January, May, November, August. So based on this value, we used to plot in map info format. So we'll get the contour map. So if you see that this because since the last 2 years in the pandemic, now we are not able to get the most of the data. That's why I'm presenting the only November 21 and January 2022. So when you compare this, now there is no change in the water level. So almost it is same. So only in the November, no, the blue portions, that is 0 to 2 meter depth to water level is occupying major portions. So like that, we used to assess the groundwater assessment, resource assessment. So when you compare to the last assessment, that is a 2017, and recently we completed by last November, that Government of India has approved that resource estimation 2020. So here when you see that there is decrease in OE area. As far as Tamil Nadu concerned, the 17 maps having more red area. So whereas in 2020 it has been drastically reduced, whereas the critical area has been increased and safe also increased.
Excuse me, sir.
Yes.
Sorry again for interrupting. The slides are not changing.
Okay.
Yes, sir. Now it's
okay. Now,
yes, sir.
now
Now it's
okay.
okay. Yes, sir. Thank you, sir.
So now the aquifer mapping, why we need, because during 1950 most of the abstraction structures are dug wells, because the technology available during 1950 was they can able to dig only dug wells. So they can go up to depth of the 30 feet only. So when comes to early that 70s, duck cum bore well. That means the based on the available technology, they able to drill 100 feet. So in 80s, it is gone to 300 to 400 feet because the submersible pumps have been developed. They can able to lift the water at a desirable depth. So in a nowadays, so they can move, they are going up to more than 2000 feet also in some parts of the Tamil Nadu, especially Rasipuram, all the things. So they are going more than 1000 feet. So even our exploratory well, no, during I think 1967 we made a one deepest exploration in Ramanathapuram, that is 777 meter, 777 meter, to get the information about the various aquifer system in the Ramanathapuram district. It was drilled during 1967. So now the well is abandoned, but we are having a lithology information. Um, so that groundwater abstraction for the irrigation is totally governed by the private, that is the farmers. They are having the own control. Whatever the available technology and the wealth of money, they are going to the deepest water level or deepest well. So, considering this, the government of India has initiated that Aquifer mapping system. So, it's a basically is a scientific process wherein a combination of geological, geophysical, hydrology, and chemical study has been applied in a field, and based on that, we'll have a quantity and quality outputs, and also the sustainability of the groundwater, that is a management plan will be coming with that. So this is the aim of the aquifer mapping. Basically we have to prepare the three-dimensional disposition of the aquifer system along with the characteristics and as well as the yielding capacity, and accordingly we have to formulate the management plan considering the present development, current development. So ultimately it will be given to the state government for the better implementation through participatory approach. These were the outskirts of the this aquifer mapping. So as far as already I said, Tamil Nadu concern, we have already covered 1,05,742 square kilometer. So in this process, first we'll start from the not the zero, because we are having historical data, the past 40 years ka data we are having. So based on that, we'll prioritize the aquifer units that already I said the 13 units we have considered. So based on that, the compilation of data, and we'll identify the data gaps wherever we are having a data gaps. We'll identify and we'll generate the we'll fulfill the data gap by our own exploration activity, as well as getting the data from the state groundwater department and other lines department. So based on this data, we'll be preparing the 3D aquifer mapping and management plan that will be given to the state government for the participatory management. This is the main flow chart of the aquifer mapping system we did. So in the that aquifer mapping data acquisition, these are the data we will be collecting. That while analyzing the compilation of data gaps, we'll get the following data: that well construction, subsurface data, groundwater level monitoring, and as well as quality, specific yield test data. We'll be incorporating this one: slug test, aquifer performance test, soil infiltration test. Like this, we'll be incorporating all the these results management plan for containing a groundwater resource in technology. So this will that sustainable management will cover both the supply side. Supply side covers that artificial recharge structures, construction of recharge pond, rooftop rainwater harvesting, recharge shaft on the highways and village pond. That is a triple R scheme. So whereas in the demand side, prevention of water loss by laying pipelines, mainly it is focusing on the agriculture structure. This is a major aquifer system. We made it for our flagship program, that is Aquifer Mapping. There are 20 basin we have taken, and it has been completed completely. And just I am going to take one example to present today. So how we have made the invisible source into the visible to the public domain. So this almost out of these 11 reports are available in our website. The complete aquifer mapping reports with the management solution and tentative recharge structure, that is a lat long along with that location, it is available in our website, and remaining will be uploaded by May or June. So it needs some administrative approval, that's why it is pending. And today I am taking this Amravati aquifer system to how to we are going to bring this groundwater, invisible groundwater into visible form to this public, whoever on the online. So basically this aquifer, Amravati aquifer system, that is the 10th one in this previous slide. So that I have taken for the presentation. The total area of the basin is 12,285 square kilometer. So out of that, the mappable area is 10,500 square kilometer. It covers 5 districts. Firka is our assessment unit. That is it is a revenue village, rather we can call it Firkas. So it covers 107 village revenue Firkas is covering in this basin. So average rainfall 720 mm. So it occupies the 5, as I said earlier, the 5 districts. So the district breakups, the Africa and the category respective, the categorization of the assessment is given in the table. So there are out of 107 Firkas, 74 are falling in OE, that is over exploited and critical category. So the major issues in these basins, one is drastic declining of the groundwater level, especially in Coimbatore, Tirupur, and some extent in Dindigul also, and groundwater draft more than the recharge. That's why it is giving the 74 out of 107 is giving the OE and critical. So already it is overdrafted. That's why it is the overall groundwater resource assessment for the entire basin is 111%. That is a stage of development. And third issue is groundwater contamination. That is a high TDS, lead, some extent that is in Tirupur area, lead, iron, and manganese. These are the metals pollution is existing in this area. These are the one of the issues, and high concentration of the fluoride. This is the fourth one issue. So considering this, we are taking this consideration, these issues, while framing the aquifer mapping system. So this is the 2D position of the aquifer system. So it is a we have taken this A dash in this line. So the aquifers are lying this category, and the topper one is weathered aquifers, and bottom one is a massive one. So this is the 2D position of the aquifer system, and this is the 3-dimensional view of the whatever the exploration data we feed it in the rockworks, and accordingly we made a 3-dimensional views of the aquifer disposition below the ground. So this is the overall conception after the construction of the, that is, or the conception of the conception of the aquifer system. So what we'll do, we'll assess the resource estimation, that is aquifer wise, the aquifer one, what is the resource available and what is the draft present there. Accordingly, so we'll make the management plan. That's why here in this slide we are considering only 2 aquifer system, that is a weathered one, another one is fractured. The massive one, where we don't have any water there, that's why we are not considering that one. So we'll be considering only the 2 aquifer system, aquifer 1 and aquifer 2. So you can see that mostly the aquifer system is aquifer 1 is a weathered one. So mostly open wells, that is a dug well or dug cum bore well will be existing. So the remaining bore well will be tapping the aquifer 2. So the district wise, the bore well, dug well and open wells details are given. These are the census data from the government of Tamil Nadu we have taken. So accordingly, we worked out the resource estimation. That is a draft made in the particular aquifer system. So accordingly, that draft has been computed, and based on that, we have come up with the total groundwater resource, and accordingly, the stage of development, it is coming around that 111%. That means the aquifer 1 is total annual draft is 1640 MCM, and aquifer 2 is 342 MCM. So considering this, we made that the management plan, both the supply side and demand side. Though in the supply side, what we made actually, we are proposing in the particular this Amravati sub-basin 166 check dam and 155 Nalla bunds, 716 recharge shaft and 220 tribular, that is a rejuvenation of repair and rejuvenation of the pond, existing pond, and farm ponds. It is in the agriculture field, that is 25,240. So the total roughly, these are the based on the this structure has been assessed and we derived based on the total surplus runoff available in the basin. So after considering all the requirements, the non-committed surplus runoff we have calculated. Accordingly, we are derived these structures, feasible structure as per the aquifer system, and tentative cost also we have made it. It is coming around 425 crores roughly. So by doing this, if the government of Tamil Nadu is considering this entire structure, so by constructing this all the structure, we can recharge. Additionally, we can recharge near about 197 MCM. Therefore, the stage of development in the basin, previously it was 111, we can bring it to 98%. Another one is demand side, that is change in irrigation pattern. So generally the paddy is cultivated in the flood method. If you are moving to ditch and furrow method, and sugarcane with the drip method, banana with the drip method. So these are the tentative 3 mode of apparently we have proposed in this demand side. So if you are implementing only 30% of the irrigated area, so we can harvest or we can save the 56 MCM water. So that means by adopting 30%, we can bring the stage of development 111 to 107%. If you are considering the 50% of the area, then the stage of development we can bring it to 105. If you are considering all the paddy, all the sugarcane, all the banana, if you are considering this distance furrow and drip method, so we can save near about 193 MCM. So the change in stage of development will be 111 to 99%. So overall, by adopting both the supply side and demand side, we can bring it to averagely. If we are combining these two, so we can entire basin, the stage of groundwater development, we can bring it to 111 to 87%. So after that management plan, it will be given to the public, that is state groundwater department or state government. So wherein the participatory groundwater management will play an important role, because groundwater has emerged as a critical resource for economic and social mobilization, and food and nutrition security largely made through the dug wells or tube wells functioning in the harsh climates. And groundwater has provided maximum dividend and social security during lean period. And 80% of the rural drinking water is made from the groundwater only. So considering this, the participatory approach is must actually. They are the key players, and they can have a control over that if they are monitoring the things what is happening in the system or in the basin, so they can able to come up with some mechanism so that they can manage the groundwater management in a better manner. This is a this slide shows the one of the village at Rangareddy district in Andhra Pradesh, where the people has been trained. The village group has been made a water group agency, wherein they are able to train for the all the monitoring, including rainfall and water level from the tube well, and the pumping test in the top photo. No, it is they are conducting some kind of pumping test, yield test of the aquifer. So how much it can yield, and the below photographs showing the surface non-committed surplus, how the outflows stream gauges are running. So based on that, they made some budgeting. So after the budgeting, they proposed some strategy to manage the resource. So one of the highlight thing is in Pune district, Relegaon Siddhi. So where the people has been adopted the similar mechanism, where the rainfall is almost 300 mm only. The annual rainfall is 300 mm only. So after the detailed this kind of exercise, they made one kind of strategy. If they're able to get only 250 mm rainfall in a year, then all the farmers can go for the two crops, that is second crops. If it is 150 or 170, all farmers should be able to take only one crops. Like that, there's a kind of some mechanism they developed within the group. So this kind of management, participatory management should be there. So in order to judicially use the existing resources. So based on the our so far, as I said earlier, 11 aquifer mapping reports are being published, and it is in the our public domain. So based on the our that reports, government of Tamil Nadu has taken up a huge artificial recharge implementation scheme near about 1,000 crores, wherein that tentative location has been taken into consideration. Whatever our in aquifer mapping reports we are given, at the end we are giving every aquifer management plan will have that whatever I have said, no, that recharge structures, we'll give the exact tentative location also lat long. That has been taken care by the Tamil Nadu. So considering that, they formulated one scheme, and in case of based on our Ministry of Rural Development, under the convergence activity of MG Narega, we have taken one firka, that is a Mathur firka in Krishnagiri, wherein we have constructed successfully 20 recharge structure based on the aquifer management study. They constructed, and it is already functioning, and the impact study assessment study is ongoing. Like that, one more that aspiration district, that's Virudhunagar, wherein it covers more than 9 OE and critical firkas in Virudhunagar. So based on our aquifer mapping study, they formulated DPR for construction of 159 structures, recharge structures, at the cost of 7.5 crores. It has been forwarded to the Ministry of Jal Shakti for the funding. So like that, our one of the first study, rather we can call it pilot study, that is a lower Vellar watershed in the Kadalur area. So we taken as a pilot study before the aquifer mapping start. So based on that outcome, that is a management plan, we have regulating the groundwater resource on the coastal aquifers. So one of the key issues is the government of Tamil Nadu want to bring that all the tannery and dyeing industry located at Tirupur, they want to ship to the Kadalur area. So where this aquifer mapping management plan has been fruitfully utilized by the government of Tamil Nadu. So another one is the district collector Tiruvallur has recommended all our NACIM study tentative locations for the implementation under MG Narega. Like that, our Madurai City Corporation Commissioner, we have briefed in one of the meeting, and coming Tuesday they are going to get based on our that NACIM study, they implemented a lot of structure in and around Madurai city. So based on that, they are going to get the award, that best municipal corporation in India. So by President of India on coming Tuesday, that is the 29th of March, it will be awarded to the Madurai Municipal Corporation. So that is a completely, they adopted our management plan. So based on our recommendation, they gone to the specific structure in and around the city corporation, and they successfully implemented, and it was very much appreciated by the commissioner also, our studies. So these are our findings. So this way we are making the invisible groundwater into visible to the public domain. So thank you.
Thank you so much, sir. That was a wonderful presentation. We got a lot of insights into the aquifer system and even the resource estimation.
Thank
We
you.
also realized the importance of participatory approach in the groundwater management, sir. Thank you so much.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you, madam.
Moving on to the next speaker for today. Our next speaker is Dr. K. Sridhar. Dr. Sridhar is former hydrogeologist. Excuse me, please. Dr. Sridhar is former hydrogeologist. I'm sorry for the disturbance. I apologize for the disturbance. Our next speaker for today is Dr. Keith Dr. Dr. Schneider is former hydrogeologist of Tamil Nadu Water Supply and Drainage Board. After completing BSc and MSc in Geology from Presidency College, Chennai, he acquired PG diploma in remote sensing from Indian Institute of Remote Sensing, Dehradun. He then worked as project scientist with Institute of Remote Sensing in Anna University. He pursued research studies on the topic artificial recharge potentials of Upper Kodavanar Basin, Dindigul district in Tamil Nadu using remote sensing and GIS. Dr. Sridhar was involved in implementation of drinking water and groundwater recharge schemes in Tamil Nadu and was also nominated as an expert committee member by the Ministry of Drinking Water and Sanitation for the preparation of the Annual on Sustainability. He was a visiting faculty at School of Architecture and Planning in Anna University and doctoral committee member in VIT Vellore. He was also involved in the field of geotechnical investigations, especially for the phase 2 of Chennai Metro Rail project in different parts of the city. His fields of interest include geology, hydrogeology, remote sensing, GIS, artificial recharging, and geotechnology. Today's topic is application of geospatial technology to assess the artificial recharge potentials of Tamil Nadu. Over to you, sir.
Is it audible?
Yes, sir, it's audible.
Okay. At the outset, let me thank the Registrar, Madras University, Professor Bhaskar, Center for Water Resources, and my dear friend Sukumaran is also there. So I wish all of them a very, very happy World Waters Day. Okay. In fact, I have been given the topic of application of geospatial technology to assess the artificial recharge potentials of Tamil Nadu. So,
Hello, some noise is coming. Huh? Hello,
yeah. Tell me, Dr. Sundar.
some noise is coming. I don't know.
From where?
I don't know, sir. Actually, the panel member can say better.
Yeah. Because in fact, I have switched my mobile is also in silent mode. So, is it clear now?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So, we all know that our country is not uniform in nature because it rises from hills to the plains. Okay. So, this way that the natural resources of our country is not uniformly distributed. And in these conditions, I think remote sensing and GIS are really useful along with the coordinate systems like GPS. So these techniques have potential to map natural resources in virgin terrains, which will be boon for any country. So we all know that India has from rising Himalayas to peninsular plateaus, and these technologies would be of much use in mapping. So as Dr. Subramaniam also told that, see, the wells that we are drilling, you don't know, it started with 30 meters at depth and going on, going on, going on. It is up to 500 meters or more. So this means the water levels are going down every day. Shallow wells fail, deeper and deeper bore wells are there, too many bores and lowered groundwater levels. So this way, what technique we should adopt? So this is what the vicious cycle of groundwater. We all know that vanishing groundwater, no base flow, vanishing streams, over exploitation. Even Register was telling that he was able to draw the raw water and drink it, but today we are in a different situation. We are not able to tackle the metro water also. We are not trying to have the metro water. So we are depending on the mostly bottom water or mineral water. So when we talk about sustainability, see this sustainability we have, this Million Development Goals and Sustainable Development Goals throughout the world. We have, in fact, the UN has declared that Sustainability Goal 6 as well as the Million Development Goal 6. It shows that source sustainability, ensuring good quality groundwater with good quality throughout the year. And then system sustainability, ensure all infrastructure like OST, pipelines, HSC, PF are intact with O&M. This is what even the Jal Jeevan Mission says, that increased LPCD with good quality throughout year or 24/7, 365 days should be provided with nominal charges being collected from the rural population. And then financial sustainability, availability of proper funds for O&M. O&M means operation and maintenance, and social environmental sustainability. See, in this social environmental sustainability, we have to actively involve all the stakeholders in the villages or in the rural areas, where they become the partners in whatever exploitation we do. Okay. Now, what is the geospatial technology? See, commonly, suppose we know what is geomatics. Normally, the people use geomatics and technology for visualization, measurement and analysis of features or phenomena that occur on the Earth. Geospatial technology, basically it includes three types. One is the remote sensing, another one is the GIS or Geographical Information System, and global positioning systems. Of course, we have a lot of training centers and other things which, in a way, they impart training on these aspects. So, when we talk about remote sensing and GIS, we have to have the spatial data layers. One is about the soil, one is about the roads, cultural features like village boundaries, land use, location, and then finally we have to go for the groundwater potential. See, when we talk about groundwater potential or groundwater prospects, I think Dr. Subramania has narrated well about the groundwater prospects, and as well he was talking about the aquifer mapping. But one thing which he has forgot to mention is about the scale of the aquifer mapping. So what sort of scale we have in aquifer mapping? Is it on 10,000 scale or 50,000 scale? Now, when we talk about the geospatial technology and artificial recharge, fundamentally what we have to see is there are two types of groundwater issues. One is the declining water levels. See, water shortages affecting food production, drinking water scarcity, increasing pumping cost. Solution for reversing decline is to increase groundwater recharge. Then groundwater recharge can be carried out after identifying the aquifers as part of watershed management, understanding existing recharge patterns, methodology that can prove beneficial. So what exactly is this artificial recharge? Artificial recharge is something which we can, when there is no natural percolation or infiltration into the ground system, we are trying to alter the surface such that the movement of water will be more when it falls on the surface of the earth. So this can be achieved either by suitable civil constructions like check dams, percolation ponds, subsurface dikes, recharge shaft with bore wells. Artificial recharge is a process by which groundwater reservoir is augmented at a rate exceeding that under natural conditions of replenishment. Is it faster or is it audible?
It's audible.
No, it's not fast, no?
No, sir, no, sir.
Okay. So we have, when we talk about artificial recharge, we have to have the concepts, we have to have the aims, and then the planning. So enhance sustainable yield in areas where overdevelopment has depleted aquifer. Then conserve and store excess surface water for future use. These requirements often change within a season or a period. Restore supplies to aquifer depleted due to excessive groundwater draft. I think here I just wanted to mention, we all know about the aquifer condition, is it not? Aquifer is one formation that helps to or percolate downwards, transmit and absorb water. This is what exactly what we mean by aquifer, and improve quality of existing groundwater through dilution. And then the availability of non-committed surplus monsoon runoff in space and time. In fact, I just wanted to narrate one incident here because in 2015 we had floods. Okay, and then during that time, I was traveling to Rajalakshmi Institute of Technology, crossing that Pundamalli Chembramakkam bridge. It was almost touching the bridge. The water was touching the bridge. But after a few days, that is about March, April when I went, the water is nowhere. It is gone down. So that means there is either the mismanagement policies or we don't know how it happens. And every government says water is a power. Without water, nothing can be achieved. So analysis of monsoon rainfall pattern, variation of rainfall in space and time, hydrogeological aspects, availability of subsurface storage space. And then we all know that the methods of artificial recharge, we have direct method, indirect method, and combination method. Of course, we have surface water spreading techniques, subsurface techniques, induced recharge, aquifer modification, ground conservation structures. And especially when you see the surface spreading techniques, mostly in Tamil Nadu, we are popular with either the check dams or maximum by percolation ponds. Apart from that, we do have some recharge shafts. Like this, we do have some subsurface dikes. But other things, when you take, of course, we take what do you call that, channelizing the water supply into the dry wells. That is one aspect which we use it as injection well. Okay, so pump well, collector well, and infiltration galleries. These are all some of the things that have been occurred inside the river system. Then borehole blasting and all, you know, it needs a lot of permissions and other things, which normally authorities will not go for borehole blasting and all. Then we have subsurface dikes or groundwater dams or underground bandaras and fracture well sealing cementation technique. This is not popular in Tamil Nadu. So when we say this artificial recharge, there should be some scientific inputs. And then scientific inputs include hydrometeorological aspects like rainfall intensity, rainfall duration, number of rainy days, evapotranspiration losses. This is one aspect with respect to the hydrometeorological studies. And the second one is hydrological aspects. Hydrological aspects means, see, when there is a ground surface, above is hydrology, below is hydrogeology. So one famous scientist told that without the science of hydrology, hydrogeology would have been very simple science. But because of hydrology, because of the infiltration, because of the percolation, hydrogeology becomes very complicated science. So hydrological aspects includes prerequisite source water availability throughout, therefore studies to be made on watershed basis. In situ precipitation, surface supplies from large reservoir located within the basin, treated municipal and industrial wastewater. The third one is hydrogeological aspects. Preparation of detailed hydrogeological map of the area, map showing hydrogeological units, their water bearing capabilities. That's why I told you, whenever we use aquifer means it shows that aquifer is a part of the hydrological units like aquitard, aquiclude. All those things are secondary, but main thing is about the aquifer. That means it has the transmission and absorption capabilities. So that is why we call normally hydrogeological unit. And aquifer mapping, as told by Dr. Subramaniam, it is the government of India that is taking up aquifer mapping throughout the country. Okay, map showing depth to water table to decide pre and post monsoon flow conditions. Map showing piezometric head in deeper aquifers. Map showing groundwater potential and level of groundwater development and water quantity and water quality also. So in fact, Madam was telling me that I was with IRS Anna University, Institute of Remote Sensing Anna University, in this particular project of block-wise groundwater recharge maps using remote sensing and GIS. And I was the project scientist there, and I was involved in almost all the activities of the block-wise recharge maps. So block-wise recharge maps were prepared for entire Tamil Nadu using remote sensing data and GIS techniques. And I think these maps have been circulated to most of the line departments as well as to some of the collectors where they can identify and practice this groundwater recharge. Okay, thematic maps like geomorphology, geology, soil, slope, land use, drainage were prepared using IRS-1C IS-3 satellite data with limited field checks and later on digitized. Similarly, derived maps like drainage density, sediment density, runoff isolines, depth to water flow. Of course, I am not going to individually highlight each one of the theme. Okay, runoff isolines, depth to weather zone, depth to basement, groundwater level fluctuations, and water quality were digitized. Criterion tables were generated considering importance of different teams, and necessary ranks and weights were assigned to each team. Whenever you do any project or sort of this groundwater recharge map in GIS environment, one has to generate criterion tables. That is very, very important. All the above themes have been integrated using ArcInfo GIS package. Areas suitable for artificial recharge were categorized into excellent, good, moderate, and poor zones and later verified in the field. Whether that particular areas, because all the scientists were asked to go into the field and check whether these zones are usually suitable for recharging the groundwater aquifers. So that way we found out later verified in the field also. Suitable artificial recharge structures like check dams, percolation ponds, recharge pits, recharge shafts, contour trench, nala bend, recharge tube wells, and subsurface dike desilting were recommended based on above zonation. Of course, as I told you earlier, that the mostly the popular recharge structures in Tamil Nadu are check dams, percolation ponds, and recharge pit and recharge shaft, especially in delta areas, and sometimes in check dams also, where there is a sand depth is there. Then contour trench, Nalaband and check dams are seen. Recharge tube wells, of course, when there is a aquifer is very deep, we go for this recharge tube wells. And subsurface dike, of course, we have a limited usage of these subsurface dikes. And of course, we all know that desilting is taking place because now it has time has come that all the lakes are being taken up for redevelopment.
Excuse me, sir.
Yeah.
Sir, are you presenting? The presentation is not visible.
It's not visible?
No, sir.
No, ma'am?
It's not visible, sir.
Wait.
At the screen.
No, ma'am?
Not yet, sir.
Not yet?
No, sir.
IRS online, this slide is okay?
So the presentation is not visible. You have not shared the screen yet.
Oh, I have not shared the screen yet. Okay. One second. I just share. Screen share. Is it okay, ma'am?
Yes, sir. It's visible. May continue.
No, you want me to continue here from here?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So these are block-wise recharge maps in Tamil Nadu using GIS, in which I was involved in that project. So basically, we thought of distributing the maps like this. One is the thematic maps, like base map, geology, geomorphology. Fundamentally, we have used all this on 1:50,000 scale of Government of India topo sheets. Okay, base map, geology map, geomorphology, soil, land use, slope, and drainage. These are some of the thematic maps we prepared and we digitized. And then later on, from these maps, we have derived some of the maps like watershed, drainage density, lineament density, depth to water table, depth to basement, water level fluctuation, and water quality. All these are put together, integrated and analyzed, and finally the zonation map has been prepared, and these zonation maps are with limited field check and for updation purposes. So this is one of the maps which we prepared. Of course, this is a categorization of area for recharge. This I am showing just one part of Tirunelveli district, Vandavasi block, where you can see excellent, moderate, good, and poor. All the 4 zones you can see. And what are the recharge structures which we have given, like see this check dam. This is check dam. Then we have percolation port. Then we have recharge pit within a tank. Then desilting. Okay. So, sorry. So entire thing you can see the map which has lineaments. These are lineaments, and based on lineaments, we have prepared the lineament density map. Based on the drainage, we have prepared the drainage density map, and so on and so forth. We have prepared for all the 385 blocks in Tamil Nadu using this technology, especially remote sensing and GIS. Of course, GPS, we have handheld tremble GPS. Then we gave the coordinates for that areas also. Okay. Now these are the check dams which are very popular structures, especially in Tamil Nadu or elsewhere in the country also. Check dams across small streams having gentle slope. Check dams are feasible in both hard rock as well as in alluvial formation. Selected site should have sufficient thickness of permeable bed or weathered formation to facilitate recharge of stored water within a short span of time. Height normally less than 2 meters, and excess water is allowed to flow over the wall. This is the wall actually. Okay. And to harness maximum runoff in the stream is series of check dams or plants. Yeah, tell me.
Sir, you have stopped sharing the screen. Can you share?
It's not there?
No, sir.
1 second.
Yes, sir.
No, ma'am?
No, sir. Still not there.
Map is also
No, sir.
there?
You have stopped sharing the screen. You can share it again.
Okay. 1 second.
Yes, sir, sure.
Oh, hide అయిపోయిందా అది ఉంటుంది ఓకే అదే చూసి ఓకే Is it clear, ma'am?
Yes, sir. It's good.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. So this is the check dam which we are normally constructing in rural areas so as to artificially recharge the groundwater aquifer system. And recharge from check dam, see normally what we do is when there is a lower level of water level, we construct the check dam such that the water will percolate downwards and recharge the downstream river or downstream sources like borewells which are used for drinking water purposes. Okay. So this is one of the check dams that has been constructed in Namakkal district, Chinnapallam, and I have given the impact also. See, today's World Water Day, the slogan is like this, making the groundwater invisible to visible. See, when there is water supply and when there is a river or which is dry almost, you can see in this slide, which is dry for almost the year, then you see the same river with after the development, after the rains, we have the check dam which otherwise recharges the aquifer. Okay, how see the improvement of water level from 11 meters or 12 meters to 4.5. So that means about, let us say about 8 meters of water level has been raised because of this one structure. Then again, check dam with borewell, same Perambalur district, Nalla Kirakai, and then you can see the how water level has been raised from 15 meters to almost 10 meters. That means 5 meters of water level have been developed. Then we have the percolation pond, artificially created surface water body, submerging permeable land areas. Surface runoff is made to percolate and recharge groundwater storage. Rocks coming under submergence should have high permeability. Degree and extent of weathering should be uniform and not localized. Size should be governed by percolation capacity of strata in tank bed rather than a yield of catchment. Mostly earthen dams with masonry structure only for spillway purpose. See, this is how the check dam percolation ponds will act as a recharge structures. So this is constructed in Kanchipuram district, Agni Kartanakan Nayakan huts. Okay, this is a village where you can see 10 meters when we started the construction. Water level is 10 meters. Now it has raised to 2.8. That means about 8 meters. 7 to 8 meters is the improvement of water level in that particular area. Then again we come back to the subsurface dike. Basically groundwater conservation structure, effective to provide sustainability by arresting subsurface flow. Subsurface barrier across streams which retards natural groundwater flow and stores water upstream below ground surface. See, whatever happens for check dams on the surface, below the surface, we call it as subsurface dike. The only difference between these two is when we construct a check dam, the sources below the ground, below the down areas, we get the recharge. Whereas in subsurface dike, we get downstream areas will be benefited in check dams, while in subsurface dike, upstream areas will be benefited. So main purpose is to arrest the flow of groundwater out of the subbasin and increase the storage within the aquifer. Advantages include avoidance of submergence of land, no evaporation loss from reservoir, no siltation takes place, potential disaster like collapse of dam can be avoided. So recharge from subsurface dike. This is how it happens. You can see pictorially it is represented here. Okay. So the indication of the river is to show that there is a structure beneath the surface. This particular gravel packing is done only to show them that there is a subsurface structure beneath this. Okay. Recharge structure subsurface dike, especially in Manimuttar River, Perambalur district, it's about 65 meters. 3 meters depth below the bed level is a 1.15 meter, and it is constructed in 2003-4 with 13 meters to 5 meters. That means there is an elevation of groundwater about 8 meters. Then we have dugwell recharge. This is very popular amongst all the, especially in rural areas, because dugwells in alluvial and hard rock areas have either gone dry or the water levels have declined considerably. These wells can be targeted as structures to recharge groundwater. Stormwater, tank water, canal water can be diverted to use these structures to directly recharge the dried aquifers. Soil moisture losses during the normal process of recharge are reduced. Recharge water is guided through a pipe at the bottom of the well. Rainwater runoff can be channelized and recharged to dug wells through a filter in rural areas, especially see like filter traps we have, like this before allowing the raw water directly into the well, some chamber should be constructed such that the water is filtered and allowed the good water into the system. And then recharge shaft, as I told you earlier, this is also very popular, especially in Tanjavur area, Tiruvarur, Nagapattinam, in areas where fried aquifer is overlain by poor permeable strata. Recharge shaft is an artificial method which penetrates overlying impervious horizon, provides effective access of surface water for recharging phytic aquifer. Ideal structures for areas with deep water levels. Trench can be excavated and backfilled with boulder and gravel for recharging deeper aquifers. Trench could be provided with borewells. So you can see the borewells which are provided inside the shaft. Now, especially with the help of State Planning Commission, we did a project on Senji block, and everybody knows about Senji block. It is a rain shadow zone, and nothing has been done for Senji block with respect to groundwater. So we thought, why not we take the Senji block as a role model, and we did this study because some of the check dams have already been constructed in Senji block. So we thought, okay, this is the right time to do some project on Senji block. So base map, topo sheets on 50,000 scales were procured from Survey of India, then remote sensing data from NRSC, then field data, of course, we have collected ourselves. Then we have done drainage, geology, geomorphology, element, land use, then field data, then rainfall, water level, water quality, all these put together into the GIS environment and action plan map, and then the impact study. This is how the project methodology for Senji block has been devised and has been approved by the funding agency, and we have carried out the work. So collection and analysis of data, procurement of suitable satellite data, of course we have done that using the NRSC data. Then groundwater level data from line departments, we have taken data from CGWB, PWD as well as TWAC. Rainfall data from IMD and other state departments. Interpretation generation of thematic maps using RGS package. Estimation of groundwater recharge, its impact on land use, crop pattern from the field, impact studies of the constructed recharge structures. Success of recharge structures were video recorded in the field. So this is the physiography map and then the drainage map of Senji block. Of course, it is a culmination of 3 blocks like Melmalinur, Senji and Vallam. And similarly here also, drainage map also done from Senji. Then geology map, Senji block and geomorphology block. We did for geomorphology as well as geology using the GIS environment. And then we have the lineament map, which gives you the lineament density of all the 3 blocks. And especially for Senji alone, we are taking it as a pilot study because Senji blocks, we all know that it is under the rain shadow region. Then location map of the recharge structures. There are about 25 recharge structures which we have selected, and 21 are constructed by water board and 4 are constructed by agriculture engineering department. We have collected the data from all the line departments. We have analyzed, and we thought that okay, recharge structures. See, these are some of the recharge structures constructed by TWAC. Okay. And this one is constructed by agriculture engineering department. Mostly all of them are check dams which are used for impact study of the project area. Then impact area map. See, this also you can see. We have all, these are the locations of recharge structures combined. See, this one is the location of recharge structures. This, like this, we have plotted all the recharge structures and their impact were also studied. So, impact assessment of recharge structure and groundwater, especially because we are making invisible into visible. So, computation of additional quantum of water recharge for 4-meter rise in water level. We have seen, especially for with respect to Senji block. So, whenever there is a recharge, there is always a rise in water level. So, effective radius around the recharge structure is about 125 meter, and recovery in average water level is 4 meter, and specific capacity of weathered zone, especially GEC norms, which has been mentioned by Dr. Subramaniam. See, especially this groundwater estimation committee norms 1997 is a basis here, and based on that fact, it has been followed even for 2020 assessment. Okay, so that is about 5%, and quantum of water impounded, that is Q is equal to area into water level into specific heat, that will give around 9.8 million liter per year or 0.0098 MCM billion cubic meter per year. This is what the assessment we have done based on the impact of the recharge structure. Like earlier, you have seen the impacts of the check dams and percolation ponds, where I have shown there is a imminent increase in water levels from 15 meters to 8 meters or 6 meters. So that means there is always the impact is clearly given whenever there is a structure is constructed, artificial recharge structure is constructed. So conclusion, application of remote sensing and GIS are cost effective in implementation of artificial recharge structures. Ground truth essential. Remote sensing is not a substitute for fieldwork. Remote sensing with GIS forms a good database for analysis. Remote sensing is changing daily, and along with GIS is very useful in groundwater prospects and recharge mapping. Whenever there is a recharge mapping, it should go ahead with groundwater prospects mapping also. Okay, like this, I think we have done groundwater prospects for the entire state of Tamil Nadu on 1:50,000 scale topo sheets. As NRSC was the peer agency for this a wonderful project which has been on groundwater prospects and recharge mapping. Handheld GPS equipments quite useful in fixing coordinates of drinking water, wells and recharge structures, and for updation purpose. Preparation of village water security plans. Remote sensing is a major key to understanding the earth, its resource and environment. Assessment of village or watershed is important to know development aspects of groundwater. In fact, I want to add one thing here is, see, including even in under the able guidance of Sri Gurudev Ravi Shankar ji, we have called a project called River Rejuvenation Program, under which there was a successful project implemented in Naganadi in Vellore district. Then, in fact, they have planned for artificial recharge of groundwater using the funding from Rural Development Department. Then, artificial recharge structure are effective in improving water levels, which nowadays everybody is talking about artificial recharge. Quantity and quality has considerably augmented. Recharge structures are recommended for sustainability of sources, adhering to the spacing norms of wells and thereby protecting aquifers. Assessment and evaluation of present recharge structures, water supply asset mapping, creation of groundwater database, and updating GIS environment. When the well is dry, we learn the worth of water. This is quoted by famous scientist Benjamin Franklin. To succeed in your mission, you must have single-minded devotion to your goal. Thanks for your attention. Any queries, any questions on this? I'm glad to answer you.
Note for the participants, if there is any queries, you can put up in the chat box.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, sir. That was an insightful presentation. We do know different geospatial techniques, but today we got to know how the impact assessment of these recharge structures can be carried out. Thank you so much for that, sir.
Okay, thank you very much.
Sir, if there is any questions, we will get back to you, sir.
Yeah, and in fact, what is the chat box in there?
Sir, it is the YouTube, so if some question comes up, we'll...
Oh, YouTube, is it?
Yes, sir.
Okay, okay,
Participants are there.
okay. So, can you send me the question so that I can answer them?
Yes, sir. So far, no questions have come up. If there is something, we'll let you know, sir.
Yeah, please, definitely. Okay.
Thank you so much.
So, thank you, Professor Bhaskar, for giving me an opportunity to talk about and share my experience in this field. Okay.
Thank you so much, sir. So
Yeah.
next I call upon Mrs. N. Priyanka, Research Scholar of Center for Water Resources and Management, University of Madras, to propose the vote of thanks. Over to you, ma'am.
Yes, our honorable speakers and all the participants, it's my privilege to have been asked to propose a vote of thanks on this occasion. I, on behalf of Center for Water Resource Management, very hearty vote to thanks to honorable delegates who blessed us with their presence and took out valuable time of your busy schedule. Also, I would like to extend a special thanks to Dr. Madhivanan Sir, Registrar University of Madras, for his inaugural address. We are really inspired by the speech Dr. S. Subramanian Sir, Regional Director of Central Groundwater Board, for elaborating us about the groundwater scenario in Tamil Nadu. I would also extend my thanks to Dr. K. Sridhar Sir, Senior Hydrologist of Tamil Nadu Water Supply and Drainage Board, for explaining the topic in detail. Our heartfelt gratitude to all the participants for their active participation in the workshop. As no program can become successful with a single person, so I extend my big thanks to Hari Krishnan, Sweta, and Deepjyoti Gogoi for their support and all our volunteers too. Thank you all for making this event successful with your contribution. Participants are requested to submit their feedback form, which is provided in the chat box. The certificate will be sent to the participants within the 15 days of the workshop. So the participants are expected to fill the feedback form, then only you will get the certificate. Okay, thank you.
I request all the participants and the panel members to join for the national anthem.
जनगणमनगणायक जय हे भारत भाग्य विधाता पंजाब सिंध गुजरात मराठा द्राविड उत्कल बंगा विंध्य हिमाचल यमुना गंगा उच्चल जलधि तरंगा तव शुभ नामे जाहे तव शुभ आशीष माहे गाहे तव जय गाथा जनगण मंगलदायक जय हे भारत भाग्य विधाता जय हे जय हे जय हे जय 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 हे